What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays. My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for day number 3 of our 12 Sprues of Christmas. Today, guys, we are going to be drawing a brand new kit and we're going to be pushing forward to see what we can do and, well, just have some fun with it. So bring out that box. Now we have done a 262 and we've done an F86 Sabre. So let's go ahead and punch through this third one here and see what we have in store for us. So just punch right on through there, reach inside. Okay, here it is. Pull this one out. And it is a 1/144th F-117A. This is the Stealth Fighter. I believe it's the Nighthawk, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and pull out that box. Here we go, 1/144th, very tiny little kit. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what we have inside. So you can see, again, we just have the one poly bag. We have some instructions and some decals. That's about all we have. So pretty simple, just like the other kits. Not a lot to it. Looks like, 2 steps basically. A lot of stuff on each of those steps, but just 2 steps. So awesome. We can go ahead and open up the package here and pull out the plastic, start assembling everything, but it looks like panel lines are nicely recessed, very nicely detailed. Again, for its size, not half bad. I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and close up the landing gears because I want to try to make a tree ornament out of this one. So we're going to close up the landing gears, but we're going to open up those bomb bays and we're going to put in those 2 bombs right in there. So that should be awesome. So let's keep that time lapse and see what we can do and get this thing assembled. So we have everything nicely put together, and I've noticed that there are some ejector pin markings on the very back here, right at the nozzle for the engines. We're going to go ahead and have to remove those because it is pretty noticeable, but I don't think it'll be too difficult because I could sand them off with my jeweler file, and then we can just drop some super glue in there, make sure to kind of level everything out, and then sand it down again, and we should be fine. Now these should have probably been taken care of before I put the fuselage together, but I just didn't notice them in time, and you know what, that's fine. There's actually some detail on the inside here that I wouldn't have been able to really take full advantage of having the fuselage separated, so this is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and push forward and get all of these nicely ironed out, and then we'll come back and we'll drop in some super glue. Again, super glue for this application should be pretty easy to do. A little bit of a hobby knife here and just take off some of these edges, and I think would be good for the super glue. So like I mentioned, I wanted to go ahead and install bombs into the bomb bay. So one of the things we're going to have to go ahead and do is we're going to have to attach the bomb bay racks. Now we've actually glued both of these racks inside, and I'm just taking a little bit of super glue to kind of shore them up a little bit so that they don't wobble or kind of get askew. Then after these are nicely dried, we can come in, we can prime everything. Then we can pre-shade, we can add marbling coat, we can try to do a little bit of weathering if we can with some paint, but F-117s are usually pretty clean. I've never seen a picture of any of the stealth fighters being just really disheveled or worn out. So I think we'll be pretty good by keeping this one a little on the cleaner side. Anyway, let's go ahead and queue up and get this thing one step closer to being done. Alright, so we have the aircraft all painted up, the bomb bay is nicely painted, and we're going to move on to getting this cockpit and canopy ready for final installation. And I got to tell you, one of these really annoying things about this canopy is that there are no frames anywhere on this thing. Either they're extremely small or they're just way too soft because there isn't really any noticeable framework to go ahead and mask everything off. So I'm kind of having to eye it a little bit based on some reference photos and from the box art and the instruction manual. I'm just trying to piece it together and make it the best I can possibly make it. Not a deal breaker, just kind of annoying. Now off camera, I went ahead and I overcoated the entire aircraft with a nice coat of Future. It is dry and we are ready for decals. It's amazing how quickly these smaller aircraft dry, especially when you have them under a heat lamp and you're really making sure that everything is nice and thin coats. I don't really want to waste too much time waiting for stuff to dry. So let's go ahead and jump onto decals. Now the decals for this kit are a little bit on the strange side. Most of the reference photos I've seen for the F-117 have white markings. These are blue. And I don't know why they're blue, but they're blue. So you know what, we're just going to run with it because after all, this isn't really anything too crazy. This is actually just kind of for a tree ornament, something fun. So I'm not going to worry too much about it, but as far as I know, they should be white. It's one of those weird quirks. This is a 1/44 scale kit, so it's on the smaller side. Probably not really going to really notice all that much. I would have preferred them to have been in white, but it's going to be fine. So let's go ahead and cue up a time lapse and let's go ahead and push through, get all the rest of the decals finished. Then we'll get a final gloss coat on there, and then we'll see where we go from there. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and reveal the finished product for the Trumpeter 1/144th F-117A Nighthawk. Here it is in all of its stealth fighter glory. Now you'll notice that I have a hook right here on top of it. That's actually to go ahead and make this an ornament. Because like I had mentioned back, I think a few episodes ago, I wanted to try and create any aircraft with foldable landing gears. I wanted to make them into ornaments for a little tree that I have on my computer bench. I think that's actually really kind of a fun little touch. But as you can see, the bombs are glued in, the decals are on, everything has a nice kind of a satin finish. I didn't want anything too stark and flat. Also, I didn't want anything too glossy. So this actually works pretty decently. As for the hook, I just simply used a paper clip, cut it down to size, bent it into shape. And for the little attachment point, I just simply used a piece of copper wire, twisted up, and just inserted it into a hole that I drilled with my pin vise. So nothing too fancy there. I did have to kind of work out the balancing area. That's a little on the tricky side, but I think I have a nice balance so that it hangs a little bit of a nose up so you can kind of see in there and look at the bombs as well. So that's kind of neat. Overall, though, this was a really fun kit, super simple. Maybe if I had gone ahead and tried to attach the landing gears, it would have been a little bit more complicated, but to be honest, this went together beautifully. I would have preferred a little bit more detail up in the air intakes because those are kind of plain, but it's okay. It works for me. Everything is on. I'm happy with it. We have a nice satin coat on there and I can hang it on my tree, which I think looks pretty neat. So aside from all of that, I think we're going to be calling this one finished. This marks the end of episode number 3 for the 12 Sprues of Christmas. And next episode, we'll come back, we'll draw another kit, and we'll see what magic we have in store for us. But until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of the 12 Sprues of Christmas. Until then, happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.